half of your buttons don't.
I'd say rotations for some things are a bit convoluted.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not even joking. You need like a 4-year college degree to be able to DPS as Arcane.
Yeah, as Arcane for sure.
Like
that's why,
college degree
dude. That's why I couldn't
a...
fucking play. I dropped out. Oh, it makes so much sense. I couldn't play Arcane because I'm too fucking stupid because I dropped out of college. I didn't get my Arcane degree.
An Arcane Mage in PvE.
Yeah, dude. Posted 2 weeks ago, and I have not watched it. Not watched any other reactions because I wanted to watch it myself on here. All right.
Wouldn't we love to see some new faces in the AWC? See out there's almost nobody playing PvP anymore. I'd say there's new.
Will nothing save us from this unholy curse? There is a curse upon every man.
Nobody.
I got 5 seconds into
PvP,
that shit.
But yeah, there's not a lot of new people playing World of Warcraft. I mean, World of Warcraft is not a very accessible game. You know what I mean? Here's the biggest problem with World of Warcraft, okay? Like, kids these days are like mega zoomers. Even I find myself, I'm like this. I just want, like, this is the TikTok age, you know? Like,
yeah,
we want our instant gratification. We don't have to, like, want to do anything. Like, let me give you a for instance.
I relate to this so fucking hard. Like, even in terms of, I mean, just everything, but like content creation, video games, like especially like bro, my mindset for streaming and content creation is still stuck in like 2012. And like, bro, taking the like 30 minutes to make a very, very fucking poorly edited video to put on YouTube, or even like spending 15 minutes making a short, like, bro, I don't have fucking time for that. Like, I'm so zoomer, it is unreal. You need me to do something on the game, if it's not logging into raid or do like a singular dungeon, if I have to go farm shit, I'm not fucking doing it, dude. I can't. I'm zoomer in everything except my fucking age.
Instance, okay? Like, let's
Honestly.
do a little thought experiment, okay?
Let's see it.
Little thought experiment, chat.
Thought experiment. I love them.
Okay. Imagine you're a kid.
Yeah.
And you're looking for a new video game to play. And you're browsing YouTube, and you see 2 games. The first game you see is World of Warcraft 3v3 Arena. Okay?
Dude.
And you're watching Peekaboo, and he's on his sub-rogue, and oh my god, he's looking fly. Peekaboo is making plays.
Yeah.
He's cheap-shotting this guy.
Peekaboo is pretty fly, yeah.
He's gouging this guy. He's blind sapping that guy. He's one-shotting that guy. He's a hero. He's a legend. He's the 2-time. Gets the dub. And you're thinking, wow, I want to be like Peekaboo when I grow up. So you look and you want to try World of Warcraft. You're like, I want to play 3v3 Arena. That sounds awesome. I want to play Sub-Rogue. So you buy World of Warcraft. You download World of Warcraft. You make your character, and then you're like, wait, what? Can I just play Arena?
Yep.
No. You have to level. Okay, well, I guess I'll level. And then you level up. Okay.
See, like, that's like, I haven't finished this point, I'm sure. But it's like, that's also part of the experience. Like, I think it's hard. It would be harder now for me to, like, get into WoW than it was when I did. Because it's like, I like, quite literally saw my older brother playing it. And was like, that actually looks really fun. Like, I want to do that. And so, like, I played with him, and he, like, you know, showed me everything. But like, if you're just going into it and you're like, I'm gonna do PvP, like, you see a video of PvP and you're like, I want to play WoW for the PvP, and then you log in with nobody to like show you or guide you through anything, like, that shit is gonna be the most confusing shit if you've never played an MMO before. Like, knowing the grind, I think like League and like Dota and all of those games suffer from that now. Like, all of that. Like, there's so much to the game. And granted, like, League I think has like a decent like tutorial, but even then, like, it barely scratches the surface of the game. Like, you have so much to do and learn before you can like actually play the game the way that you see people play the game.
Okay, you level up your rogue so you could be like Peekaboo. Okay, can I play now? No, you can't play now. Now you have to grind honor gear. And on top of grinding honor gear, you also need to start working on your crafted gear, because you want to have the right embellishments. Well, what
Yeah.
are embellishments? Well, embellishments are these little additions that you can add to your gear that make you a lot.
I know it's done on purpose because you have to keep the game fresh for people like me, for other raiders and other players, and like the game is literally like 20 years old. Came out in 2004. No, it's like 20 years old. Came out in 2004. It's gonna be 2024. I don't fucking know math, all right? But like you have to like have the crafted gear with the embellishments and a convoluted system for a new player to keep it interesting and fresh for these players that haven't stopped playing. But like I took a month and a half off for our move. Like I genuinely could not play. And I came back and still it was like, what do I have to do? What is this currency? What is that currency? How does this work? Like, what does this do? And it's like, that shit is wild. Like, I couldn't imagine being like a completely fresh new player without having like a guild or anything. Like, I guess I would need to talk to like Neff about it, because he started playing in BFA, which would have been 6 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. Like, so it's like he's a really fresh new player and he knows more about the fucking game than I do. But like, what is that like starting so late, like, and having to learn all that, like all of the shit? Because even the systems back in BFA were fucking insane.
A lot more powerful, and if you don't have them, you're probably screwed. Okay, well, I guess I'll do that too. So what do I need to do? Like my campaign? Yeah, get on the campaign, do it up. All right. Now that you've got your honor gear, you need to start queuing, and you need to work on your conquest gear. Don't worry, you are way behind on gear and you're at a big disadvantage, but that's really no problem. Oh, wait, you're actually really screwed because you don't have any add-ons. Okay, so what you really need to do is you need to go download a program called CurseForge, okay? Now download CurseForge, and you can get these different add-ons, okay? So you're going to need S Arena so you can track all your diminishing returns. You're going to need to set up Tell Me When so you can see like when your abilities and procs are up to do optimal damage. You're going to need to set up Omni CD so you can see your teammates' abilities. You need to set up Omnibar so you can track the enemy abilities. And then on top of that, you're going to need to get details. So whenever you get one shot, you can try to figure out what killed you immediately. Okay, now let me know when you get all of that set up. Okay,
great.
Now
So like mixed emotions on add-ons. Like, I think they're like really cool. It offers like so much like customization to the game. Like, my like all of this shit, like you can get it to look however the fuck you want. You can set up all your shit to show you whatever you need it to show you. You can do all this shit. So it's like really fucking cool, but it is also like, it's insane. Like the fact that you need something like this to not to better play the game, because there's so many people that use less and play better than like I do. But like just the fact that like even like a week or a hub like this is like kind of mandatory for most players is like it's kind of nuts. It's a lot.
your gear still sucks, so you're going to have to grind that out for a little bit to be on an even playing field. And I know you're just getting one shot all over the place, but you're going to figure it out eventually. And that's why you need to download Mez's Weak Aura package, because even though you're not exactly sure what's going to kill you, when enough horns and whistles go off, you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, and then it's like, what the fuck? Alt F4. Okay, like, yeah. That's why new people are a little intimidated when it comes to World of Warcraft PvP. Now, imagine that same person tunes into like a Counter-Strike tournament, and he's watching Fraud. Fraud probably hasn't played in a million years, but it's all I know. Okay, he's watching Fraud from Complexity from 2008, op people. And he's like, oh my god, Fraud's so good at opping, I want to op. And then he downloads the game and starts playing. And that's it.
Yeah.
The end. Like, it's a pretty jarring comparison. And I feel like it's the biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft PvP. What's up, Zarya? It's the biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft is it's very difficult. An MMORPG, and listen, I have to give a lot of credit to the developers, because for us who've been around for a long time, the gearing process has gotten a lot better over time. You know what I mean? Like, I do think there's a lot of positives to this expansion. I feel like they've done a really good job making it more convenient and better for us. But that doesn't change the fact that it is extremely complicated to play this game.
Yeah.
If you were a new player in World of Warcraft, good luck.
Good luck
Is all I'm saying. Good freaking luck. You know? So that's why I think a lot of people, as sad as it is to say, and I think it's important to at least admit this, because then maybe in the future we can move forward and make it better for people to, you know, try World of Warcraft and play PvP, because that would be ideal. But I think it's important to admit that it's a lot easier for people to just play other games. You just log on and play. That's it. Like, you just play League, you just play Dota, you just play Counter-Strike, you just whatever you want. You know what I mean? The issue is the elitism. The elitism shouldn't even exist, though.
That definitely doesn't help.
You think when I play Overwatch, I care about elitism? No. I just queue up and I can play. I download Overwatch and I play. There's no elitism. I just get ranked. There's enough people playing where I just queue, and if I suck, I get put into bronze, and if I'm pretty good, then I get put into, you know, gold, and if I'm a little better than good, I get to be diamond, and you know what I mean? I'm just playing against people that are relatively skill level. There's no elitism gatekeeping it. The only reason there's elitism is because I feel like the community is relatively small, so it's hard to actually get into groups. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I think solo shuffle, this is actually what I believe. I believe, and people are going to hate me for saying this, I believe the future of WoW PvP is solo shuffle.
Solo shuffle, for sure.
And I think there is a lot.
For sure, 100%. I don't play PvP last season, or even, I mean, I guess this season, like, I've had Alla so far, but, like, I don't do PvP last season and get 1800, which isn't even that fucking good, by the way. I don't play PvP last season without solo shuffle. I don't. The queue times are fucking awful. 20 to 30 minutes for a 6-round match. That's pretty fucking abysmal. But I'm sure that there's things that they can do to figure that shit out. But, like, I probably don't PvP without solo shuffle. And the fact that you can just solo queue WoW PvP now. I agree 100%. The future of WoW PvP is solo shuffle.
A lot of things that need to be done to make it as ideal as possible.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, a solo queue mode is the only reason that I feel like World of Warcraft gains popularity in PvP.
Yeah.
And I think in season 1 of Dragonflight, when people played solo shuffle,
unrelated, I think, unrelated to the video, I think PvE also needs a lower number group for, like, mythic difficulty. I think we need a 10 and 20 man, like a 10 man and a 20 man mythic option. Like we used to have 10 and 25. I think that has to come back. 20 people is a lot. That's a lot. We've struggled keeping a solid 20-person roster since I joined this guild. Since I joined 13 Orphans, like, it's wild. Like, consistently over the course of 6 months, 8 months, like, we have so much turnover, I feel like it's wild. We have a really strong core, but, like, a lot of turnover. So unrelated, but I think that also has to come back. I'm, like, slouching so bad because of I'm trying to, like, I have Biff.
When it was new, it was exciting, it was fresh, there was lots of people queuing, the queue times weren't too long. People finally got to play the game. There's so many people that want to play PvP, but they just sit in LFG all day long. And then they play one game.
Because the people that are in, like, the LFG that are in this, right, are looking for specific, like, who's looking for a DK here? Like, they're gonna want a healer probably. Like, it's all, 1200. He wants a DPS, but, like, they're looking for a healer. Like, you have to be. They want, like, the perfect comps that, like, they see on the AWC streams. Like, they don't want a random I mean, it's better now for me. Okay, they don't want a random 1600 DK or a 3v0 rated threes player DK. You know, they don't want that. They don't want, you know, like without Allah, I don't get 1600. It's like nobody is gonna invite me for low CR games like that. Like that doesn't happen unless it's like first thing in the season, and we're not that anymore. Like we're not there anymore.
And then they get kicked out of the group, and then they're back to LFG.
Yep.
So solo shuffle was actually like their godsend.
And then
yeah.
you get it. Okay,
oh my God.
you finally do find someone in LFG. Like you finally do find somebody to queue with in that. You lose 2 games back to back, and they fucking leave. And it's like you can't learn that way. Solo shuffle 1000%. I agree 1000% is the future of WoW PvP. Has to be.
I've got an hour. I'm gonna log on. I'm gonna play some solo shuffle. Great, I'm in this game. I get to play. It's fun. I'm gaining my rating. I'm getting my rewards. This is amazing. And then obviously,
I don't know about an hour. You need
in
about
season 2
3
with
to
like
make
ratings being
substantial shit.
gate kept and stuff like that. I feel like it lost a little bit of popularity, but hopefully it'll pick back up now that they've added some more rating and stuff like that. But yeah, I really feel like a solo queue mode actually is like the future of WoW. I know you guys hate me saying that. Maybe I don't even want to admit it to myself, but unless there's like some better way for people to queue threes, it's always going to be this thing where it's like you have such an extremely difficult time to play unless you already have friends, which lots of people don't, or unless you're already heavily invested in the community, which a lot of people aren't, you know?
100%.
They don't have any. There are people that are even super invested in the community. They can't find anyone to play with. Most of the time, I log on, nobody wants to play. I have a friends list full of like gladiators and rank 1s and stuff like 90% of the time, nobody wants to play. So I just sit in LFG or I sit in solo shuffle, you know?
It really do be like that. It really do.
Whereas when I want to play Overwatch, I just log on, game.
Yeah.
I want to play Dota, log on, game. 2 seconds. So I don't know.
I talked about League and Dota earlier, but I think even that, like, their solo queue experience in terms of like getting into games and shit is also like miles ahead of WoW. Because it's like you said, you want to play, you log on and you hit play, and you're in, and that's it, and you get to play the game. You have, like you said earlier, like you have an hour, okay. Log on, you hit play, you're in a game within you're in a game within like 2 minutes. I think even WoW's like solo shuffle like struggles with that. Because even you want to solo shuffle, you log in, you hit play, and then you wait for 20 minutes. If you have an hour, you get 1 game in before like you're like, okay, I don't have time to do another. You still get to play, but it's not nearly as it's not as efficient time-wise as other games.
Get there, but I feel like it's important, I think, that there is a good solo queue mode, and there's got to be like more convenience. Like I really want more people to play WoW. I do. I love this game. I'm not shit talking. World of Warcraft is literally that. Like I've dedicated my life to this game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So I love this game. I want nothing but its success. But I feel like there's some.
Ordinary dish soaps can leave invisible grease behind. Only Dawn Platinum.
That need to be jumped over, and I feel like there's got to be like some changes, like some big changes, you know. And I hate add-ons. It's a different conversation, but I hate add-ons.
I understand. I mentioned this earlier. Like I understand their place. I understand I understand why they're used. Like even I just released like my UI in my week, whereas I've spent a lot of time the last like 2 weeks setting that up, and like I've been expanding it. But like there also is a part of me that is like I wish there were no add-ons and I could just run base UI and just play the fucking game. Like there is a huge part of me. I've had this discussion with my friends. Like I've talked about it where it's like I struggle with like wanting to use someone else's UI or create my own UI or just run base UI and just fucking play. Like I struggle with that so much. Like I really do. I really
UI
fucking
needs
do.
to be improved and add-ons need to be pruned from the game. And I think if for no other reason than making it more accessible to new players.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
for me.
I agree.
But yeah, it's an interesting take. I know a lot of people disagree with me. That's fine. I'm willing to change my mind on what I'm saying as well. Like I'm not totally set in my ideas, but I do feel like I'm on the right track as to why it's hard for people to want to play, you know. There's too many abilities right now too. Legion was the last surge of new players. The game stuck around and grew because it's the most simplistic in recent times. I really do believe that. I'm not gonna lie.
I missed most of Legion, so I don't have much of an opinion. I missed.
This is something we watched yesterday. You guys want to see it? I genuinely believe, with all of my heart and soul, that damage rotations in this game are way too complicated. Like, they are way too complicated. Yeah. There's too many modifiers. There's too many cooldowns. Yeah. There's too many abilities.
Yes, but no. I guess
a perfect example.
Yes, but no.
He's gonna Arcane Mage.
The hell. He's gonna explain it, and I don't necessarily I don't disagree, and I have my own thoughts, but I want to see what he says
guide. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, this is gonna freaking blow your mind. Okay, we're just gonna watch this for a second. Imagine you're a new player and someone's trying to explain this to you. Okay, you're like, I want to get into raiding. How do I do damage as an Arcane Mage? Let's watch.
Now let's head into this single target rotation. 15 seconds before the pull, you want to be spamming Arcane Explosion to fish for clear casting procs. This part may vary based on your haste levels, but in general, 9 seconds before the pull starts, you want to cast Evocation so you can start stacking Siphon Storm. At around 3 seconds, you want to cast a Rune of Power into an Arcane Blast precast and Arcane Orb. The pull has now begun, and we already have 4 Arcane charges, so we're ready to start our Arcane Surge burn. However, this burn will change based on if you have double Time Warp activated or not. So if you plan on popping double Time Warp, you want to immediately stack Arcane Harmony to 20, then continue with the burn rotation. If you aren't popping double Time Warp, then you don't have to worry about Arcane Harmony, and can immediately start with Radiant Spark when the pull begins.
This is already...
After Radiant Spark, we can...
I played Mage first raid of the tier, so I kind of I understand what he's saying, but this shit, it's so much, it's too much. It's there's so many little things, and they made it a meme because I was asking when we were lusting because I was the luster, but it's that matters, that actively changes what you're gonna do to maximize your damage. It matters. It matters for DK too, but I don't think as much. I just be fucking blowing my load every time.
Cast 3 Arcane Blasts into Arcane Surge and Nether Tempest. Now, if Time Warp is up, you want to cast Arcane Blast and spell Q Arcane Barrage into it. If you're not sure what it means to spell Q, I'll have an explanation of it down in the description. If you're not in Time Warp, then forget about Arcane Blast, just cast Arcane Barrage and Touch of the Magi while Barrage is traveling, but right before it lands. The reason that we pop Touch of the Magi while Barrage is traveling is so that we gain about an extra second of Touch of the Magi uptime while still benefiting from Barrage inside it. Also, Touch of the Magi itself gives us 4 Arcane charges, so right after Touch of the Magi, we want to follow a simple priority list. Nether Precision buffed Arcane Blasts, Clear Casted Arcane Missiles, and regular Arcane Blasts. Now, due to Arcane Bombardment, if your target is under 35% health, you want to Barrage and have it land just before Touch of the Magi ends.
Is one of the most
Otherwise, use Presence of Mind to fit one last Arcane Blast into Touch.
I played Arcane well enough to get through the opener, and then outside of the opener, I was fucking garbage. I was just absolute garbage.
You want to cast a Barrage on the last global of your Arcane Surge buff. Otherwise, just follow the priority list as usual, and once your Arcane Surge buff wears off, cast Shifting Power, and that's the end of the Arcane Surge burn. Now, I know this may be a lot to take in all at once, especially since the rotation changes so much based on if Lust is active or if the target's in Execute. My best advice would be, take it one step at a time, first learn the rotation without Lust or Execute, and then gradually start incorporating the other conditionals. To help you out with this, I created a cheat sheet that you can find in the description of this video, and it'll have everything you need to know about the rotation, so you can have that pulled up on the side while practicing.
Bro, come on, man. Come on, bro. That is too much, man. It's too much. I get it. People, you want the rotations to be interesting enough where you're not just playing classic spamming Frostbolt. I totally understand that. And maybe you don't even want the rotation as simple as Wrath of the Lich King, where you're spamming Arcane Blast, you have charges, you buff up, your abilities are getting buffed by your charges, and then you use your Barrage to dump your charges and reset. And if you happen to get a proc, you use it. I feel there's enough complexity there. It's still fun, but Legion was a good example too of the rotations weren't too ridiculous, but now it's crazy, bro.
I think that goes back to I think it goes back to them trying to innovate for the current players. I mentioned that earlier, where it's they're changing, they're adding abilities, they're reworking, tier sets and changing tier sets, but they like the way that the old tier set was, so they bring the tier set back. So then you have to how does the core rotation work around the tier set? And it just makes it extremely, extremely, extremely convoluted for the sake of having it, you know. And what I was gonna say before I watched watched that little tangent. I don't know what the fuck. I'm about a drink and a half deep. Okay, I'm ranting. I'm also trying to be a whole nother thing. We're gonna take a time out there. Okay, but like Unholy DK. Unholy DK opener for a boss fight. I think I have everything that I need that I would actually use in my PvP spec here. So you army, and then you get your diseases rolling, right? And then you get your other disease up, and then you pop 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you go. I'm sorry. You go here. You pop army. Like it's easier if I actually fucking do it. Okay. So you army as you run up to the boss. You get your diseases, both diseases, right? And then you put your D&D down because you're in your opener. You pop gargoyle, dark transformation. You 3 times, specifically 3 times, you death coil, and then you go into unholy assault, which I have macroed. So this is 2 separate buttons technically, macroed into this, and then you pop this, and then that's the opener. I also didn't use A-bomb limb here because in your pure single target rotation you don't. And then you, from here on out, you hit like 3 buttons. Like, it's nuts. That's a lot. Like, without macroing this stuff in, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you also have to remember to pop your trinket. 11. 11. That's 11 buttons for your opener. Like, it's not nearly as, like, I don't think it's nearly as complicated as, like, as what he's saying here. Like, it's not nearly as, like, thought-provoking and you have to actively, like, think about what the hell is going on. But, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if I went back. Unholy just needs a rework. That's also true. Yeah, I think I sent you that article, Greg, about how, like, Unholy has been the same for like 40 fucking years. We have too many mini CDs. Yeah, like it's a lot. But I'm just like going off the Venruki point. I don't know if you watched this video, Greg, or not.
You want the rotations to be interesting enough where you're not just playing classic spamming Frostbolt. I totally understand that. And maybe you don't even want the rotation as simple as like Wrath of the Lich King, where like you're spamming Arcane Blast, you have charges, you buff up, like your abilities are getting buffed by your charges, and then you use your barrage to dump your charges and reset, and if you happen to get a proc, you use it. Like, I feel like there's enough complexity there, or it's still fun. But like Legion was a good example too of like the rotations weren't too ridiculous, but now it's like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So yeah, anyways, that's what I think. I think there's like some challenges that face World of Warcraft, and like I said, I love this game, but the rotations for some things are a bit convoluted. Yeah, 100%. Legion had so much choice just because everything did stuff. Like half your buttons don't.
I'd say rotations for some things are a bit convoluted.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not even joking. You need like a 4-year college degree to be able to DPS as Arcane.
Yeah, as Arcane for sure.
Like
that's why, dude. That's why I couldn't fucking play it. I dropped out. Oh, it makes so much sense. I couldn't play Arcane because I'm too fucking stupid because I dropped out of college. I didn't get my Arcane degree.
An Arcane Mage in PvE.
Yeah, dude.
It's way too crazy. Shadow Priest is just as complicated, but these 2 specs are exceptions. I mean, I was looking at let me see if I can find it. I made a list. I made a list of
I don't know if they're the exceptions.
Frost Mage abilities. These are just attacks. This is look at this, okay? This is Frost Mage after the rework. Okay? I'm going to show you guys this.
Let me see it.
As a Frost Mage after the rework, these are your attack buttons. These are all things you need to have keybind to do damage. You need to have Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Flurry.
Yeah.
Frozen Orb,
yeah.
Blizzard,
yeah.
Cone of Cold,
yeah.
Frost Nova, Fire Blast, Arcane Explosion, Blast Wave, Ray of Frost, Glacial, Ice Nova, Comet Storm. Ebon Bolt actually got pruned. They literally pruned it. So Ebon Bolt did get pruned. But then you, for your water elemental alone, you need Water Jet Keybind, you need Pet Attack Keybind, you need Pet Freeze Keybind, and then if you happen to PvP, you also need to use Ring of Fire, and you also need to use Frostbomb. And that's these are just attacks. It's a lot. Now, I've heard people of the opinion that there are people that have the opinion that it's better to have more attacks, which means more options, which means higher skill cap. Like, I've had that conversation with people, but it's a bit much. I think compared to, like, this is Legion. So on Legion, you had spammable Arcane Blast, Explosion, and Barrage. When you got procs, you used missiles. You had Arcane Orb as a short CD. You had Mark of Alaneth and Arcane Power and Palm as your long CDs. You had 4 defensives: Temp Shield, Priz Cloak, Ice Block, Greater Invis. Your utilities were Mass Invis, Shimmer Displacement, Nova Slow, Spell Steal.
Damn. And
it was the most fun spec ever. This is literally one of the most fun specs I've ever played in my entire life.
Damn.
League of Legends has, like, well, that's what Zico says. Like, he's like, why is League of Legends so fun to play? Like, why are MOBAs so fun to play? You have 4, 5, 6 buttons. Maybe and then you add, like, flash or whatever. You have, like, 7 buttons. But every button does something.
Yeah.
Meaningful. Every button you press feels like it actually matters.
It's a valid point.
But there's been plenty of times, Axton, where, you know, those little buttons. Listen, I understand, man. Like, yeah, I get it. World of Warcraft is never going to be a game that has 5 buttons, but I feel like you could have like 20. Yeah. You know, you could have like 20 buttons, and that's fine. 20 is kind of a lot for casual gamers. Yeah, even 20 is fucking crazy, but it's better than 40. The ability prune after WoD pretty disliked. Well, it's because they pruned like iconic, really fun abilities like Grounding Totem. It's not like, yeah. They pruned like really crazy important abilities.
Yeah.
The biggest reason I can't play retail right now is the complex damage rotations. Complex damage rotations are not what makes combat fun for me. It's not what makes combat fun for a lot of people, man.
Yeah. True.
Like, it should not be.
True.
I'm telling you,
it just needs
even
to be,
if you
like,
want to have like a
engaging.
bunch of like utility
But,
spells
like,
that are interesting,
engaging and fun does not necessarily mean 12 button DPS opener. There's a middle ground there, and I don't know it, and I don't get paid to know it, which is why I don't know it. But there's a middle ground there
for that. But I swear the way you deal damage in this game is way too complicated. I really believe that. I think most specs, their damage rotation is way too convoluted. There's way too many buttons that don't really do that much, but you're still forced to press. Like, how many spells do you think should be in a damage rotation? Like 5 single target, like 2 or 3 AoE or something like that, and a couple cooldowns.
It's a hard, like,
I
think
it's a hard
just
pressing Ice Lance and Frostbolt
number to like.
Swiffer Sweeper, Drycloths, grab Dust and Hair and lock it away.
Dude, RIP the fucking ads, dude. But I think it's a hard number to like pinpoint. I don't know if there's like necessarily a super intense correct answer, but
you're playing Arcane by choice, but you don't like complex damage rotations? Well, believe it or not, Arcane's damage rotation is significantly less complicated in PvP. It's still complicated.
I don't know.
Like, the concepts are complicated, but the actual buttons you press are way less complicated. The complexity of the game is what is killing its popularity. Making it easier to play would pull in more people, but it would make it less appealing for people that can play for hours on end every day. I don't think that's true, though.
Yeah, I don't think that's true either. I don't think that... Because they can still give less abilities, but make each ability that they do have like more impactful, more meaningful, and still fun to like press and play. Like, just because you remove certain abilities and like I don't think doesn't mean that the game is necessarily less fun.
That's true. In BFA, they tried to make it easier to play, and it had the opposite effect. I feel like Legion was pretty I feel like Legion had pretty clean rotation.
I don't think the reason that BFA was unfun to play was lack of abilities to press. I think there were some other underlying issues to that expansion.
I kind of agree with Knight. Like, I feel like all the specs that I played in Legion were like they were good. How do we get more people to play baseball? Let's make everyone use T-bars. We actually this is kind of like a repeat of a conversation we were having earlier. But I think the biggest problem is it just takes a really long time to get into WoW. Like the major challenges WoW has is like if somebody watches WoW and then wants to play it, going from watching it to playing what you're seeing is months of work, months and months and months and months and months of work.
I've tweeted about it before, but like watching AWC, I've been playing this game since like 2009, 2008, I don't know, 2010, somewhere like something like that. One of those fucking years. I still don't know what the fuck I'm watching when I watch AWC. I don't. It genuinely is so fucking confusing.
And then also, even if you do all the work, like another challenge with WoW, and like I keep feeling like I need to say this because, like I said, I love this game, dedicated my life to this game, favorite game I've ever played in my whole life. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. Even if you do everything, so here's another problem with WoW is even if you do everything, let's say you actually buy the game, you level up your character, you farm full honor gear and full conquest gear, you download all the add-ons you need, you set up all the add-ons you need. Everything is great. You farmed everything. You spent, weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. You finally got everything. Most of the time, you're just going to log in and not have anyone to play threes with, so you can't play. Or if you're going to solo shuffle, it takes 30 minutes in queue.
So true.
That's the biggest obstacle.
So true to both of those. So true to both of those. Great video. Loved it.